Today I want to talk to you about what I think is one of the best drills to get your hips turning correctly in the downswing. If you're interested in getting more hip turn this season, I'll see you in just a moment. So welcome back. As you can see, we've got rid of the snow here. It's not really got to the point where we can cut the grass, but at least we can actually hit golf balls off turf again and not from the mats. When I'm at this time of season, I'm really still kind of closing down my kind of work on technique, and one of the things that I always like to work on is getting enough hip rotation in the downswing, and I think I've got a really good drill for you here. It's kind of based a little bit on what I was talking about before Christmas and at the beginning of the new year, this move idea, getting yourself to actually move correctly in the downswing. But what it really in cases is using your legs to help you to turn your hips. One of the big problems that we have, however, is that there's just not an awful lot of time to think about this. So this is why you've got to find a drill which will actually get your body doing these things totally intuitively without any conscious thought whatsoever. So I don't want to mess around today. I want to get straight into it. If you think of your golf swing at the top, really the position where the upper body stops rotating doesn't mean that your arms have actually reached the top of the swing, but it's the position where your body is going to change directions. And when it's changing direction, it's got to basically be preparing itself and getting the hips to rotate. Now, one of the things that you have got to understand is that at the top of the swing, or at the end of the body rotation, you want to be doing this kind of a sitting movement. Now, I think we've talked about this before, that when we're actually going to do this movement and kind of sit into the downswing, you want to have the feeling as if there was a bar stool behind you. And your left hip, which is rotated a little bit further forward, you want that to be going back onto the bar stool as you start the downswing. So that before your hands actually get to hip height in the downswing, your hips are parallel. When you get to this position, that's when you've got to start working with your legs, and we're using these shear forces to turn the hips. As I've said before, the feeling is that my right foot is pressing in this direction, my left foot is pressing in this direction, and I've got to get that evened up. Usually one foot will be stronger than the other. Therefore, although my conscious mind is saying, well, press both into the ground, one of them's doing it better than the other. So you'll see a lot of kind of tendencies in a downswing where the right foot gets strong and you're kind of losing your balance a little bit towards the target, or occasionally you'll get somebody whose left foot is stronger and they're kind of staying back on it. And the big trick, apart from anything else, is to get this movement working so that both feet are balanced out in the rotation. And that way you're going to get rotation and stay centered over the golf ball. So how does the complete drill look? Well, you can either do it with a golf club across your chest, or just simply crossing your arms across your chest, and then you want to make a full shoulder rotation. Don't forget, at this point your arms are still going to be moving up, and it is actually this kind of sitting on the bar stool which stops the upward movement of your arms and starts the downward movement of the arms. So I go into this sit on the bar stool. Then I want my hips to move back. That means the left hip predominantly is having a big movement back to its original position. So the feeling is getting both cheeks at the same time on the bar stool back here. When I get to that position, then I'm using the shear forces. And again, it's this equal and opposite movements that are going one in this direction, one in this direction, which gives me this rotation. So it's not pushing me to the target, it's not pushing me away from the target, but it's getting my hip out of the way. Now, at this time, a lot of you would say, well, isn't this going to make your head go up? But if you actually see it, my thighs are pushing my bum back away from the target. My hips are actually tilting forward as I do this, and my upper body, which is a lot of joints on top of one another. If you think of the spine is not a stick, but a load of joints on top of one another, each and every one of them bending itself, I'm actually going to have more of a feeling of kind of bowing my back as I do this. And this will get me into the right position at impact. Now, you want to do this around about 1,800 times over the next 4 to 6 weeks. So it should keep you occupied on those dark winter nights. But if you can do that, it will become more and more intuitive. You have to think about it less and less. It's getting that bum back and then pushing off with your legs without letting your head come up, go into this arch. And once you've done that, you'll actually find that when you take a club in your hand, that this movement is helping you to get the arms down and then swinging them in and around you, and you're able to get into a far better position because of this open hip rotation than you were before. Your arms are being pulled to the inside, which is allowing you to release the club head out towards the golf ball. And when you actually have to hit the golf ball without thinking, it's totally intuitive. The most difficult thing in this game is to do a video and then hit the golf ball at the end of it. So for all of you who aren't doing videos, don't worry about it. If you miss the first one, you can always hit the second one. If you are doing a video, then you've got a choice. You start from the beginning and do it all over again, or you take another golf ball, smile for the camera, think of Britain, there you are. Not as hard as it looks. As ever, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to leave my philosophy of golf as ever up here. We have a new version in 2019. I have found a channel by Alex Evans, who is one of the best YouTubers with some of the best information I've seen on golf. Totally different perspective. He's talking about tour players, how tour players think, how tour players practice, and I can recommend that you go onto his channel. I'm not getting paid for this, it's just a channel that I really like, and I think that my people can, or my subscribers will profit from by watching it, because it just comes from a totally different angle. And you come to me, you're getting lots of ideas about how to swing a golf club. You need somebody also to tell you how to go out there and practice and maybe think around the golf course. And it's very rarely you'll get tour professionals telling you what they're thinking and what they're doing when they're getting ready to play around a golf. I will leave a link below to his channel. Go and check it out. And if you like, please subscribe there too. Wish you all the very best. I'll be back in about a week. Keep it going and don't forget to practice, practice, practice. Bye-bye.